Kathy, you need to go shopping for ingredients and cook for 30 people. After that, clean up the house. Once you're finished, you can rest. If my husband needs anything, make sure to help him out. My mother-in-law spoke with such pride as she gave me orders, but I no longer had any obligation to follow them. That's impossible. I can't do it all by myself. I protested. Don't tell me what you can't do. Just get to it, she snapped. No, I won't. I'm not going to let you treat me like that, I responded firmly. Her eyes widened and she glared at me with anger. Don't you dare talk back. Do as I say. Her face flushed with fury. Fine, I'll stop being a wife then, I said calmly. What? She exclaimed, looking both shocked and frustrated. I'm Kathy, 28 years old and a housewife. I've been married to Elliot for 2 years. When we married, I became a full-time housewife, and for a while, everything was great, but recently, things between us have been tense. My mother-in-law, who I had always gotten along with, suddenly changed. She had been kind to me, but now she seemed like a completely different person. Her attitude became harsh and critical. In the past, when I visited my in-laws, she would greet me warmly, saying, "Welcome, Kathy. Rest here." But lately it was more like, "You're late. Help me with the chores." She used to tell me to wait for a baby naturally, but now she's asking, "When will I get grandchildren? Is it you with the problem?" I couldn't understand why my mother-in-law had turned so cold. She started taking advantage of me, treating me as if I were her servant. "Kathy, get over here right now," she would demand over the phone. But I had just seen my husband off to work. I explained, "It's perfect. I wouldn't call you before Elliot leaves. It's my duty as his wife to make sure he leaves for work stress-free. After that, it's my duty to work for you." But she wouldn't let up. "Oh no," I muttered, growing increasingly frustrated. "If you understand, come right over," she would say before hanging up. Every morning she would call me this way. If I didn't pick up, she'd call repeatedly until I gave in. I would go to her house, and once I was there, she would treat me like a slave, forcing me to do all the work. The worst part was that I was even expected to go there on weekends. Every weekend, I'd be pressured into doing housework at my in-laws' home. My husband didn't even know what was going on because my mother-in-law never spoke to me in front of him. My father-in-law was often away, so it was just her. My in-laws' family consists of my parents-in-law and their 3 sons. Elliot is the second son, and his brothers are married as well. My older brother-in-law and his wife used to live with my parents-in-law, but they moved out due to a work transfer. The strangest thing was how nice my mother-in-law was to my younger brother-in-law's wife. On weekends, when my brother-in-law and his wife visited, my mother-in-law would greet her with the same warmth she had shown me when we first married. Why had she started treating me so terribly? Had I done something wrong? What was the difference between me and my younger brother-in-law's wife? Frustration built up, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I decided to talk to my husband. "Hey, your mom's been really awful to me lately," I said to Elliot, but his response was cold. "What? Are you having a problem with her? Don't make a big deal out of it." "I don't want any drama," he dismissed me. I tried to continue, but his words only made things worse. "Honestly, you're expecting too much from her. You and my mom are strangers, so stop expecting anything from her," he added. I was stunned. His attitude made it clear he didn't want to deal with the situation, and I felt deeply let down by his lack of support. At that point, I realized I couldn't count on him either. He had become distant too. Then came New Year's. As usual, my parents-in-law hosted a big family gathering, and my mother-in-law had been pressuring me to attend. "You have to come. It's New Year's. It's family time." She would insist, but I kept refusing, citing that I had my own family obligations during the holiday. I had been obedient for so long, but now I was drawing a line, and she was growing more frustrated by my resistance. On the day of the gathering, my mother-in-law had a cruel punishment in store for me. This was the 3rd time I'd attended a family gathering at their house. The first time, I helped my older brother-in-law's wife. Last year, I handled cleaning and shopping. But this time, she wanted me to do all the work for the event. "Kathy, I need you to shop for dinner ingredients for 30 people, cook, and then clean the house. Once you're finished, you can rest. If my husband asks for anything, help him too," she ordered, puffing out her chest in pride. But I had had enough. "This is impossible. I can't do it all on my own," I protested. Stop making excuses and get on with it, she snapped. No, I'm not doing it. I won't be treated like this, I said, standing my ground. Her eyes widened, and she glared at me, furious. Don't you dare talk back to me. Just do what I say, she yelled, her face turning red with anger. I calmly told her, fine, I'll stop being a wife then. My mother-in-law's eyes widened in shock, and she snapped. What are you talking about? I'm going to divorce Elliot and leave him, I responded firmly. You think you can just do something so selfish? I won't allow it, she shouted. I don't need your approval, I said, standing tall. Divorce is between husband and wife. Quit being a smartass, she yelled, clearly enraged. You really get on my nerves. I smirked and replied, funny, I'm also getting annoyed by every word you say. What? She barked, glaring at me. Then my younger brother-in-law's wife, standing next to me, spoke up. If you leave, Kathy, I'll leave too. My mother-in-law spun around, taken aback. What? You're leaving too? Well, if this keeps going on, I'll be next on the receiving end of her bullying, right? She said, adding, I need to get out of here before it's too late. I couldn't help but smile, thinking that's my sister-in-law. She's sharp. Why do you both keep talking nonsense? I'm not letting you off the hook, my mother-in-law yelled in frustration. As we argued, the rest of the family began to gather around. My father-in-law, along with my brothers-in-law, including my husband Elliot, had been there since early morning to help with preparations for the event. They came over to see what the commotion was about. What's going on here? My father-in-law asked, his voice calm but curious. My mother-in-law's been bullying me and I can't stand it anymore, I explained. So today, I'm quitting being a wife and leaving before she targets me again. My father-in-law frowned and turned to my mother-in-law. What did you do? He asked, clearly upset. You broke your promise. No, my mother-in-law muttered, guilt on her face. What promise? I asked, confused. My father-in-law sighed deeply, addressing the family. She promised not to bully her daughters-in-law anymore. But here we are. Dad, Elliot interjected, clearly confused. I'm sorry, Kathy, my father-in-law said softly. The real reason my eldest son and his wife left wasn't because of a job transfer. It was because your mother-in-law was mentally abusing her. She was bullying her. I nodded, starting to understand. I get it now. That's why they haven't shown up to any other events at your house. Exactly, my father-in-law continued. When my eldest son found out his wife was being mistreated, he was furious and left with her. I scolded your mother-in-law for it. She begged me, saying, I'm sorry, please give me another chance, and promised never to bully her daughters-in-law again. She asked me not to tell anyone about it. Really? I asked, surprised. I'm sorry for not telling you sooner, he admitted. I didn't think she'd do it again. It's not your fault, Father, I reassured him. Kathy, he said, you should go home today with Elliot. I'll make sure she handles everything for this gathering on her own. My mother-in-law's eyes widened in panic. That's impossible, she cried. Okay, my father-in-law said sternly. Then you tried to force Kathy into doing something impossible, didn't you? My mother-in-law tried to protest, but he continued. If you'd been kinder to your daughters-in-law, none of this would have happened, he said, pointing at her. This is all your fault. Turning to me, he added, now it's up to you what you want to do next, Kathy. The decision is yours. Thank you, I said, feeling a sense of relief. Finally, after being silent for a while, Elliot spoke, his voice trembling. Kathy, you're not really going to divorce me, are you? I can't stay with you anymore, Elliot, I replied calmly but firmly. You never listened when I needed help with your mother. But, he stammered. You want us to just cut ties with my mom and keep living together, he pleaded. I shook my head, disappointed. I'm done. I can't stay married to someone who doesn't care about me. I want a divorce, I said coldly. Oh no, he whispered, realizing how serious I was. That day, I packed up my things and left for my parents' house. My younger brother-in-law, devoted to his wife, promised he'd rather leave their parents' house than face being abandoned by her. They left together. My mother-in-law had to prepare everything for the gathering on her own. She struggled but managed to cook for all the guests. Later, I learned that my father-in-law confronted my mother-in-law with divorce papers that same day. He was determined to divorce her if she broke her promise. It seems he had already planned to make her cook for the gathering. even though he was ready to go through with the divorce. Now that my mother-in-law is gone, my older brother-in-law and his wife can return without worry. They just had a baby, and my father-in-law is thrilled to finally meet his grandchild. As for me, I've gotten a divorce and started a new chapter in my life. My ex-husband was hesitant to sign the papers at first, but when I mentioned the word lawyer, he finally agreed. It turns out my ex-husband was the only one among the brothers who didn't care about his wife, and that's what led to the rift between him and his father and brothers. Both of his brothers value their wives' opinions, which is why they cut ties with him. Now my ex-husband doesn't feel welcome at his parents' house, and honestly, he deserves it. Meanwhile, I'm enjoying my new job, living alone, and even dating a younger man. Life is looking up, and I'm savoring every moment. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Stay stunned.